Today, I'm going to tell you a story that could change the way you think. A story that might transform your life if you truly listen. Ethan Lee lived in a small American town. Every single day, he worked hard at a local workshop, repairing wooden furniture and fixing tools. His hands were rough, his boots were worn, and his wallet was always empty. Every evening, after work, he'd sit outside his tiny wooden house, staring at the orange sunset bleeding across the sky, and whisper to himself, "If only I had more money, maybe life would be easier." But that's all he ever did think. He never tried something new, never took a risk. He had dreams, but they were buried under the weight of fear and habit. One morning, the whole town buzzed with excitement. A successful businessman named Ryan Carter was visiting. He had grown up in this very town, once poor like everyone else, but now he was the owner of a multi-million-dollar company in the city. The townspeople gathered near the main square to see him. Expensive cars rolled in, and Ryan stepped out wearing a sleek gray suit, his presence calm and confident. Everyone whispered in awe, amazed at how far he had come. Ethan pushed through the crowd until he stood right in front of Ryan. His voice trembled slightly as he asked, "Sir, you used to live here too, right? You were once poor like us. How did you become so successful?" Ryan smiled gently, looking straight into Ethan's eyes. "Because I changed my mindset." Ethan frowned in confusion. "Your mindset? How can that make someone rich?" Ryan chuckled softly. "Come, let me tell you a story. It's my story, but it could be yours too if you really understand it." Years ago, Ryan was just another struggling young man in this same town. His father worked construction jobs, often coming home late, tired and silent. Their small house leaked during rain. Sometimes dinner was nothing more than bread and water. Ryan helped his father with labor work, carrying bricks, sweeping floors, earning just enough to survive. But inside, he kept wondering, is this what life will always be? One day, an old friend from the city visited and gave him a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Ryan wasn't much of a reader, but one line caught his attention and changed everything. "The poor say, 'I can't afford it.' The rich say, 'How can I afford it?'" That line burned into his heart. He realized that the real difference between the rich and the poor wasn't money. It was mindset. Poor people stop at, "I can't." Successful people ask, "How can I?" That day, Ryan made a promise to himself, "No matter what, I'll change the way I think." He didn't have money, he didn't have skills, but he had courage. So he started small, very small. He built a little tea stall right outside his home. Everyone laughed at him at first. "Another tea seller," they said. But Ryan had something different in mind. With every cup of tea, he shared a short motivational story or quote with his customers. Something inspiring. Something that made people smile and think. Soon, his tea stall wasn't just a place for tea. It became a place for hope. People came not just to drink, but to listen. Word spread. He started earning more, and for the first time, he felt proud of what he was doing. Then he learned his second big lesson. Making money isn't enough. You have to learn how to manage it. He started saving a small amount from every day's earnings. Instead of wasting it, he went to an old shopkeeper in town and asked him to teach him about business. The old man taught him how to calculate profits, plan expenses, and most importantly, how to think long-term. One evening, Ryan noticed that villagers had to travel miles just to buy basic daily essentials, like rice, flour, and soap. That's when an idea struck. What if he could solve that problem right here? Using his savings, he opened a small general store. It wasn't fancy, but it was clean, organized, and honest. He treated every customer with respect, even the ones who couldn't pay on time. Slowly, people started trusting him. His little store began to grow. Months passed. He bought a small motorcycle so he could deliver goods to nearby villages. He was no longer waiting for opportunity, he was creating it. As his income grew, so did his ambition. He started learning about online businesses and e-commerce through free tutorials, and library books. One day, a new idea lit up in his mind. What if he could sell village-made products, baskets, spices, handmade crafts to customers in the city and even abroad? He took photos of the products, created a small website, and started selling online. Orders started trickling in. Then, they began pouring in. Within 2 years, Ryan went from being a small town shopkeeper to owning a company that connected rural products to global markets. He moved to the city, hired people from his village, and built a brand that celebrated hard work and local talent. His company grew, but more importantly, his mindset kept evolving. He never forgot where he came from, and he never stopped learning. When he finished telling his story, Ethan stood silently for a few seconds, trying to take it all in. Ryan smiled and said, "You see, Ethan, the biggest reason people stay poor isn't because they lack money. It's because they lack the right mindset." He continued, "When you keep blaming fate, you give away your power. But when you decide to take responsibility and change your thinking, everything around you starts to change too." Ethan's eyes sparkled. For the first time, he understood what had been missing all along. It wasn't luck. It wasn't education. It wasn't money. It was belief. It was courage. It was mindset. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He kept hearing Ryan's words echoing in his mind. Change your mindset, or stay the same forever. The next morning, he woke up early and made a decision. He would stop complaining, stop waiting, stop blaming fate. He sold a few of his old tools, borrowed a small amount from a friend, and opened a tiny repair stall near the town square. People laughed, just like they laughed at Ryan once. But Ethan didn't care. He smiled, worked hard, and kept improving his service. Day by day, his customers grew. He started saving, learning, and expanding. Years later, Ethan had his own workshop, not the small, dusty one he started in, but a big one, employing several workers. He wasn't rich by the world's standards, but he was free, independent, proud. One evening, a young boy came to his shop and asked, "Sir, how did you become successful?" Ethan smiled, looked at the setting sun, and said, "Because I changed my mindset." Friends, this story isn't just about Ethan or Ryan, it's about every one of us. Every person who blames life for their struggles, every dreamer who keeps waiting for the right moment, every heart that says, "I can't." The truth is simple: your life changes the moment your mindset does. Stop saying, "I can't," start asking, "How can I?" Stop saying, "It's impossible," start saying, "Let's find a way." Fate doesn't decide your future, you do. So, ask yourself right now, who do you want to be? The man who kept blaming his fate, or the one who changed his mindset and changed his life? If this story inspired you, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more stories that touch the heart and awaken the mind. Because remember this: if you change your thinking, you can change your life.